Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory going to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Krakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to Yah Akim that's out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity by way of the highways and byways, going on the streets teaching and preaching, and also by way of the internet. This is your brother Nayap, and I'm back with another news update. We got a lot, as usual. Well, not as usual, but a lot of shit going on for these couple of days. So without further ado, I'm gonna get into it. This is fair use, and for educational purposes only. This is not to make money off of.
It's a drastic hit for us. We have $250,000 in inventory.
There's a couple wildfire videos on here. It's just gonna lead up towards the end, because some of them are updated differently. So I probably got like 3 or 4 of them, but the last one will be the most recent updated one that I have.
Stuck in China right now. You can't ship it here. We don't have $400,000 to pay the tariffs that Trump wants on those right now. So we've had to freeze all shipments, all orders, all production. And sadly, we've had to let go of most of our people already this year. If these tariffs don't end tomorrow, we're out of business in months.
You've had to let go people? How many people have you had to let go?
Yeah, we had 12 people at the beginning of the year. We're down to 5 employees now.
Together, this task force will identify any unlawful anti-Christian policies, practices, or conduct across the government, seek input from the faith-based organizations and state governments to end anti-Christian bias, find and fix deficiencies in existing and regulatory practices that might contribute to the anti-Christian bias. The Department of Justice will protect religious liberty for Christians and for all Americans. We'll work closely with everyone around this table and take a whole of government approach to solving this problem and ultimately protect Americans' First Amendment rights. The First Amendment isn't just a line in the Constitution. It's the cornerstone. It guarantees every citizen the right to speak freely, worship freely, and live according to their conscience without government interference. Protecting Christians from bias is not favoritism. It's upholding the rule of law and fulfilling the constitutional promise.
Supporting the free expression of faith is not just a constitutional principle. It is something that all forms of civil government should be encouraging. At its core, the executive order we're here to talk about today affirms a fundamental truth. Every individual has the freedom to choose their religious faith. And once made, that choice should never be subject to discrimination or bias from our government. Now, unfortunately, over the past several years, we've seen troubling signs to the contrary. We have witnessed actions that suggest an underlying bias against people of faith, particularly Christians. This task force was created to make sure this never happens again in America.
It is hard to believe, but Joe Biden is officially back. They really won't let that bro retire. Because for the first time since his presidency, he spoke publicly. And he immediately jumped straight into one of the most heated political fights right now, Social Security. He also still has enough in him to throw out shots at Trump, saying that he's amazed at how much destruction can be caused in such a short period of time. Oh, and after this speech, bro is still not even close to being done. Reports say that he's currently putting his thoughts together for a third book, and he's signed to a talent agency in LA, so there's rumors about a potential involvement in media or entertainment projects, and he's even begun fundraising efforts to build the Joseph E. Biden Library in his home state of Delaware. He even said that he's considering running again in 2028. I'm kidding. It is hard to believe, but Joe Biden is a
Crews battle massive fire at warehouse in Roseville. Might want to check that out.
Trump just announced 3,521% tariffs on East Asian solar panels coming into the U.S. They sought out a tariff war on solar panels because China is now seen as a manufacturing plant in Malaysia, in Thailand, and we are bringing those solar panel parts into the U.S. to be manufactured into the final product. The Solar Panel Association of America has already said that this is not a great idea because we don't manufacture any solar panel pieces in the U.S. We typically purchase from Thailand, from Malaysia, and then bring them over to assemble them as a final product in the U.S. to ship to Canada and the U.S. as well. Is what Trump is doing a great idea? What do you think about this new tariff that just came in?
It says the New Jersey's Jones Road wildfire grows to 8,500 acres with 10% containment. All right, so this is growing. Manhole explodes.
If we look at the data, we see a clear surge in online Jew hatred following October 7th. Cyberwall systems tracked an 86% increase in online anti-Semitism across the board, with one of the highest increases being on Facebook at 193% increase of highly likely to be anti-Semitic content on Facebook specifically. Additionally, I can tell you in a little bit more detail that there's a clear surge not only in online anti-Semitism, but calls to violence against Jews, specifically in Arabic, where there was an increase from very small percentages of calls to violence against Jews in our data to over 26% of that data being clear outward violence and justifying killing of Jews online.
Powerful explosions have rocked a major ammunition depot in Russia's Vladimir region, about 64 kilometers northeast of Moscow. Russia's defense ministry says the likely cause was a safety violation. At least 4 people have been injured. Witnesses described a series of secondary blasts, shockwaves, shattered windows, and rockets, whistling in different directions. A state of emergency has been declared, and nearby villages have been evacuated. Preliminary reports suggest the site may hold tens of thousands of tons of ammunition, including artillery shells, MLRS rockets, air defense components, and tactical missiles.
The Trump administration just announced a $5,000 baby bonus for first-time moms. Sounds helpful, right? But ask any working mother in America, what we really need isn't a check.
Now I want to come in and say something because I read a study that it says from the time that the baby come out the womb all the way into the time that it's grown, 18 years old, you spend about $300,000 on that child. So what the fuck is $5,000 gonna do? And plus, if you having babies at in the times that we in, you just stupid, man. $300,000. That's a big ass house, you know. How you gonna do that? And how you gonna do that and pay the bills that's already too fucking high?
It's paid leave, because $5,000 might cover diapers and formula for a few months. But who's paying rent when you're recovering from childbirth? Who's watching the baby when you have to go back to work after 2 weeks? In most developed countries, new moms get 6 to 12 months of paid leave. In the U.S., we get pressure to bounce back before the stitches even heal. And now, they're giving us cash like it's a favor, instead of fixing the root problem. No parental leave, no universal childcare, no guaranteed health care for mothers or newborns. Just a one-time bonus and a smile for the cameras. Some say it's a good start. Others say it's a cheap Band-Aid on a broken system. So what do you think? Is $5,000 enough to raise a child, or just enough to silence the outrage for one news cycle? Let me know in the comments, because for moms in America, this isn't a baby bonus. It's survival. The Trump administration.
Tomorrow marks the 25th anniversary of the massacre of thousands of Bosnian Muslims by Bosnian Serb forces in Srebrenica. It was the largest mass murder in a conflict characterized by crimes against civilians. Every year, the anniversary is marked by a mass gathering and dozens of funerals as more bodies are identified and returned to their families. Our special correspondent, Alan Little, who reported extensively on the Bosnian War for the BBC, has this report. And tomorrow marks the 25th anniversary of the massacre of thousands.
Breaking motherfucking news. The Trump administration and Trump are considering cutting tariffs on China. Congratulations, you fucking imbeciles. That standoff was pointless and a waste of our time.
Overnight, a raging wildfire tearing through New Jersey.
We're going to have 3 buildings or 4 buildings affected. Are we making a stand?
Thousands of residents forced to evacuate in the night.
I hope that I have a home to return back to.
The Jones Road fire quickly exploding in size, swallowing at least 8,500 acres, and it's only 10% contained. Firefighters battling the blaze, trying to save this building. Flames closing in around them, threatening this industrial area. New Jersey Central Power and Light cutting electricity to 25,000 customers in an effort to protect firefighters. Parts of the Garden State Parkway shut down, smoke obscuring the roadway, and more than 1,300 buildings threatened, including a former nuclear plant.
Smoke and everything was right in my backyard. Everything was covered with black ashes.
New Jersey Forest Fire Service attacking the blaze from the ground and the air. Overnight, a raging wildfire tearing.
This one could grow to be the biggest wildfire in New Jersey in nearly 20 years. The good news is we do have more containment today, about 40% contained, and evacuation orders have been lifted. The bad news is the smoke is going to be a problem, and it's going to get into most highly populated areas. This is some of our high-resolution computer modeling, and south wind tomorrow is going to bring that smoke up into northern New Jersey, into the New York Metro, into Long Island. Air quality alerts have been issued for air quality, so not just some hazy sun, but some of the smoke can get down to the surface. And if there is a fire season in New Jersey, it is the month of April, because this historically is the month when we see the number of red flag warnings, meaning issued by the National Weather Service saying this is when fires can get bad. It is the month of April. So we haven't had any of these issued this week, but it has been warm, it has been breezy, and it has been dry. We certainly could use some rain. We're going to get some. There's a little pulse coming through the Pacific Northwest right now. That'll combine combined with that stationary front that's been in the southeast all week. We'll see some rain in Chicago and Detroit and Pittsburgh by Friday night. And then by Saturday morning, this rain does get into the northeast, right over that fire. Will help knock down that smoke and hopefully put this out with some substantial rains coming on Saturday. Can't happen soon enough.
Truly.
Maurice?
All right, Rob.
Before you, here's what's going on. There was a major escalation in the war between Russia and Ukraine yesterday as one of Russia's largest weapon storage facilities was completely leveled by a pinpoint precision strike by the Ukrainians that could only have been enabled by Western ISR and artificial intelligence, because this took place 600 kilometers behind enemy lines, very close to Moscow, at least relative to the size and the distances traveled inside Russia. The Vladimir Oblast in District 20 here is just adjacent to the capital city of Moscow. In the Vladimir Oblast, the 51st Arsenal, GRAU in Marsovo, Vladimir Oblast, one of the largest ammunition storage sites in Russia, was completely leveled by this attack. Now, the only way you can circumvent 600 kilometers of multi-layered air defense, which is only going to get hairier as you get closer to the target, is with some pretty sophisticated intelligence. Now, that's important because we are allegedly on the eve of some breakthrough peace talks, so they claim, that are about to happen in London this week. Now, I think that this is highly performative, and as we're going to talk about today, this is the typical good cop, bad cop strategy, and now we have an articulation of it thanks to Brian Berletic calling attention to an article that was written back in 2009 that outlines the very plan that is currently being used inside Iran. And we can extrapolate that to this current conflict in Ukraine. But what is happening right now is, despite all the performative conciliatory diplomacy that we're seeing between Witkoff and Vladimir Putin, Vladimir Putin's spokesperson today said that unless you hear it from the horse's mouth, which would be Dmitry Peskov, the spokesperson, don't believe it. The Financial Times put out an article saying that Russia was getting ready to make concessions on the Oblast and open to the idea of having the United States put troops inside the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, okay? So there's a lot of disinformation circulating at this point in time, but unless you hear it from the Kremlin directly, there's a good chance you probably shouldn't believe it. Before you, here's what's going on. There was a major
Well, these parents are really, really shaken up about what happened in their kids' school today. And I'll tell you that a lot of kids witnessed something today that would give anybody nightmares. Just a few minutes ago, I was actually shown a few pictures and some video of what happened inside West Potomac High School today. And it was absolutely chilling. It's the type of stuff, again, that nightmares are made of, and you can't believe that a group of kids was standing around as two young students were fighting each other, and then at some point a knife comes out and one of those students is stabbed. They were lying on the floor of a hallway here in West Potomac High School, bleeding onto the floor with a group of students standing around, SROs, teachers, rendering aid to that young student who we're told has life-threatening injuries but is stable right now. You can see the police presence here outside of West Potomac High School all morning long has been substantial. The superintendent is on her way out here with the Fairfax County Chief of Police. We're told they're going to do a news conference likely within the next 30 minutes to provide some updates on what happened. We're told that, again, this started as a fight, and it's actually believed right now that the aggressor of this fight is the student who took the brunt of these injuries and was ultimately taken to the hospital with these life-threatening injuries. And parents say that they've showed up here trying to get their kids out of school because their kids actually witnessed a lot of what happened here today. Take a listen to what these parents and grandparents told me just a little bit ago. Your son witnessed the stabbing. What did he tell you he saw?
He just said he was walking down the hall. A kid got stabbed by two boys. He was really shaken up, and he's like, please come and get me.
I can't imagine how that makes you feel to know that your son...
Yeah, he's not one to get spooked easy. So to hear, when he was like, Mom, please come get me, I'm
I'm a mess. Like, I work in Maryland, 45 minutes away. I jumped in a car and I got here in about 30 minutes.
I'm mortified. I'm scared. I just need to see her and take her home, and lots of love and hugs, and we'll work through this like, any family is going to have to. In the school. Like, well, how am I certified that my son is safe in school? I'm sorry, but I'm just frustrated. This is crazy. All these kids, they're friends since they're little. He knows both of them. They went, unfortunately, the kid that got stabbed, his mom goes to church with me, and everyone is calling me. I was an hour away from here. I don't even know how I got here. My son is calling me. Everyone is calling me. His dad was working. We got here, and we get no answers. This is just crazy. We get videos from the kids inside. There's videos all over social media of what happened. My question is, where's the teachers?
We've blurred this out so you can't see the faces of anyone, but we do think it's really important for people to understand the context because of how many students were around watching all of this happen. You saw that there was a student in a red shirt. That student was described as the aggressor in this situation. However, that is also the student that was stabbed with a knife that was
Welcome back to Live Now, folks. As we take a look at some breaking news that we're just getting into our newsroom, take a look at this. A very active scene happening over in Fairfax County in Virginia. As you can see, several law enforcement officers have blocked off this stretch of road. What we're learning so far is that 2 Fairfax County officers were shot during a traffic stop that happened earlier this afternoon. According to officials, the 2 officers have been taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries at this time. Officials also say that a suspect is in custody. I want to put up this post on X from the Fairfax County Police that just kind of surmises those details that I just brought to you here, saying officer-involved shooting. Officers are in the 4000 block of Majestic Lane near Greenbrier. 2 officers were shot while conducting a traffic stop. They were taken and transported to a local hospital in non-life-threatening condition. The suspect is in custody. Back out live to this image that we have here. And again, some of this road is closed off. We know the Majestic Lane is closed between Route 50 and Meadow Hill Lane at this time. As you can see, that large police presence is still in the area with some first responders there as well. Drivers are advised to use alternate routes. This is
كالناس نايمة ها اقسم بالله
فجأة نايمين هيك فجأة ليش بنفجر فزينا نطلع لقينا كل المدرسة مولعة الخيام ورا مولعة وهان مولعة كل الدنيا مولعة مصطفى ده مولع مش عارفين نشرب كده من النار كيف ايش صار قول زلزال والله أمر من الزلزال ولا البركان ما نعرفش ايش اللي صار والناس بتصرخ وتلاقيهم حامين ناس فحم حامينهم من الأطفال فحم
نار ورا هاي قيامهم حسبي الله ونعم
Right now, we're hearing more from the market folks who catch this stuff first. Here's a billionaire investor, Ken Griffin. And he says, what Trump is doing has tarnished the American brand.
The American brand, right? The United States was more than just a nation. It's a brand. It's a universal brand, whether it's our culture, our financial strength, our military strength. America rose beyond just being a country. It was like an aspiration for most of the world. And we're eroding that brand right now.
Yeah, that brand has been eroding on a number of fronts. I've told you before, there are things that are important but harder to measure. Like how does it play across the United States and the rest of the world when we are seen as
in a messy, almost sometimes literally risky or dangerous way, pulling back on our commitments to other countries, on European security, on foreign aid to countries that we've said we would back up over the years. But that's harder to measure, right, at first. The market stuff is hitting fast. The brand is in trouble. The actual full faith and credit of the United States, our ability to pay our debts and back up the world economy, has been more questioned in the last 90 days than any time in the last several years.
Imagine trying to take your parents from this earth because they said God is real. Crazy. Don't scroll, let me explain. So, goofy alert, 19-year-old Mackenzie from Vancouver decided to attack her mom and dad because her dad told her Happy Resurrection Day. Mackenzie stated that she does not believe in God, and when she confronted her father about telling her Happy Resurrection Day, knowing she doesn't believe in God, that led to an argument. She stated that she left from the argument to go cook herself some food. Of course she did. The mom asked her why her and her dad was fighting. She repeated she doesn't believe in God, got in an argument with the mom. The dad joined in. That's when Mackenzie grabbed a knife and proceeded to poke up her father. She then ran up to her mom and decided to, you get me? Luckily, the parents are alive. You feel me? The parents are alive. She's trying to claim that they provoked her. You even have some on social media saying that even though she should not have attacked her parents, parents should stop trying to force religion on their kids. Let me tell you something, bro. If someone telling you Happy Resurrection Day made you crash out like that, then you might want to start believing in demons, because there's no way possible. Don't get it twisted though, I ain't using the demons as an excuse. You still need to be locked up for your actions, you feel me? But it's crazy. What do you guys think about the situation? Do you guys feel like she should be given another chance? Breaking fucking news. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but they had to move Kilmar Brago Garcia's wife into a fucking government-funded safe house because the Department of Homeland Security released the document that she used as a protective order for the one time they probably got into a really bad altercation with each other. It had their fucking address on it. So now your tax-paying dollars are paying for her to live in a safe house with protection because motherfuckers don't know how to be professional, humane, and not push dumbass narratives. There's no evidence that that man's an MS fucking 13. Those tattoos are right. At this point, are these gang tattoos? Is that fuck it. I'm not gonna do it. I was about to rant. The news is they had to move her into a safe house because the government released her address.
You can't make this up.
We are also reporting today that a group of CEOs of the top American retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had a private meeting with Trump on Monday. They had plenty to say, but there was one warning that stuck out. Empty shelves, they said. Empty shelves in American stores as soon as this summer because of Trump's actions.
What is that meeting in the Oval Office on Monday that we learned about, and other reporters did as well, that really apparently caught the president's attention? And I am told that business leaders, the Business Roundtable and others have been reaching out to White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and other advisors here, trying to get a meeting with the president, trying to convey to him in real terms the real fallout of some of this uncertainty, some of these tariff policies. And it was that empty shelves comment, we are told, that really caught the president's attention. Of course, you can see why. The whole idea that we would have interruption in the supply chain, sort of like we all saw in the pandemic, simply because of his policies, is something that would be difficult for the White House to endure. So that is one of the reasons we are told that he changed his posture. It's interesting.
So what Donald Trump has done is just given every single one of his supporters a crash course lesson in what tariffs are and how they actually impact them. The Democrats were right. We were telling you all this was a bad economic policy for Donald Trump to do. And it literally took the CEOs of those companies to meet with him and look him dead in his eyes and say, "Sir, if you keep this up, there will be empty shelves." And that thought made him realize that all of his lies were finally going to be revealed to the American people. Could you imagine him telling everyday Americans that egg prices have came down 93-94% while the shelves are empty?
Crews are working this morning to restore power in Puerto Rico. The fragile power grid failing and restoring service could take days.
Puerto Rico has been stuck with one of the most expensive and least reliable power systems in the U.S., and residents are really feeling the effects. Blackouts are a regular part of life. On April 16th, the island experienced yet another massive outage. Frustration is growing, and efforts to modernize the power grid have been slow, and the constant disruptions are taking a serious toll on daily life. All this across an island of 3.2 million people. The investigation is ongoing, but officials say this latest blackout was likely caused by a transmission failure. As a result, Governor Jennifer Gonzalez is doubling down on her campaign promise to cancel Puerto Rico's contract with Luma Energy. That's the U.S.-Canadian firm that's currently managing the grid. Since the blackout, the government has created a subcommittee to start looking for new operators. It's also trying to add 800 megawatts of additional generation. Luma Energy, which is a partnership between ATCO and Quanta Services, took over grid operations in 2021 after the island's public utility, Prepa, went bankrupt. But even with the new management, the blackouts haven't let up. The last island-wide power failure happened on New Year's Eve 2024, and it was also blamed on a transmission problem. The big focus now is getting more generation capacity online before the summer heat drives up demand. And Luma is warning that the summer could be rough. With rising temperatures pushing demand higher, the risk of outages could triple.
Crews are working this morning to restore power in Puerto Rico. The fragile power grid failing and restoring service could take days.